Hey everybody, this is Bridget here with Role Playing Public Radio. Tonight it's time for another one of our RPPR Patreon games. As you know, RPPR has a Patreon, patreon.com/RPPR. And the people who are kind enough to support Ross and his efforts in RPG making also get to play in various games. Yay! Tabletop games, things like that. This is one of those things. I'm your GM for the night. My name is Bridget. I am an award-winning author and industry-leading game designer. What else about me? My pronouns are she, her. And tonight I'm running a scenario called Amanuesis Dolls. It's a Delta Green game. Delta Green is like a Call of Cthulhu sort of horror game, but set in the modern world. So there's a lot of like FBI sneaking around, guns and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like if X-Files weren't on Fox, but was instead on Lifetime. I think that's a good explanation of Delta Green. So I'm going to go ahead and have our players introduce themselves to you. We'll start with Kyla and then go Kyla, Richard, Ryan.
Oh, hi, I'm Kyla. Hi, Internet. I'm playing Iris Flint, a special operator in the U.S. Army. I've actually played her in a game before, so this is her second go-around. Recruited to Delta Green after stumbling across a very strange, very gruesome aftermath of a mission.
Well, hopefully survives this one.
Hey everybody, this is Richard. You should recognize my voice by now. I've been here a few times. My pronouns are he, him. The character I'll be playing is Daphne Tardy, a no-nonsense lawyer from Adena, Ohio. Her pronouns are she, her, and I think she. I don't know that she's actually part of Delta Green yet. I think she might just be a friendly. I don't know. That could be interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm sure she got involved because they needed her to make a case disappear on some sort of technicality or something, whatever. But she's no nonsense because she's a tough single female lawyer.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm playing Judson Harewood, soldier, U.S. Army. I presume, I don't think of him as being in Delta Green. I presume that he's being sort of brought along because he's a guy who vaguely knows how to use a gun and doesn't have the sense to not go out and use a gun when someone asks him to.
Okay. So we've got a Delta Green operative and two friendlies. And so there's not a lot of, so most of you don't know what's going on. So the two friendlies, you know that you're here to help apprehend a particular suspect and uncover the things they're working on. And the actual agent is that you know that whatever this person you're trying to apprehend, the stuff that they're working on is a big deal. It can't leave the confines of the mission site. You need to uncover whatever it is, figure out what's going on, and then if it is like a threat, you need to figure out a way to destroy it. So that's your official mission orders from Delta Green. So we're going to go ahead and settle into my favorite part of the game, is where I read you all of this text that I prepared earlier. So the van rattles away in muffled silence, leaving the snow swirling all around you. It's cold this year, colder than you can remember it being. It was a joke at the office at the first. Global warming is going to kill us faster than they will, and you'd laugh. At first, it was the mysterious they, of course, the ghouls and monsters out there in the dark, scuttling along behind the veils of public ignorance or natural law, or whatever it was that kept nightmares in our dreams and boogeymen lodged firmly in our closets. It was easier to laugh at things when you weren't staring them in the maw or cleaning up the wreckage of bodies that used to be coworkers. Eventually, the laughter became directed at that violence. It was the only way to cope. Another agent gunned down in a green box, and you'd make jokes about he'd likely done it himself. It took the sting out of the truth. Comedy became a shield, and then it became a routine. Nobody really found it funny, but you had to do it anyway, like a ritual to mourn the dead. It was as close to funeral as some of those agents were ever going to get. Then the laughter worked its way back around. Things in the dark, claws and teeth and screaming, undulating masses of horrors were nothing compared to the everyday reality that the world would become unlivable, and it was going to be our fault. It seemed inevitable, and that was funny at first, much in the same way that nuclear winter would have been funny 50, 60 years ago. But now it's 2018, and you're staring extinction in the face on a regular basis, and the only real thought you have anymore is that it's cold. And you don't remember the last time you felt your toes, and whether or not the damn van could have driven you the last 15 fucking minutes up to the cabin instead of having to hoof it yourselves. These are decent boots, job issued, a size too big so you can fit the 3 layers of socks you need into them, but all the same, you'd rather not expend the cardio workout it's going to take to carry you up the laneway. Now that's funny. Really and truly funny. Your first day into this job, and you would have wanted a gun or a magical charm or a ward against evil, but now you're just whimpering to yourself about coats and scarves and gloves. It's hilarious how times change. You huddle together, warm breath turning to clouds of vapor in the moonlight. It's bright out here, really. The overcast skies are threatening, but the snowflakes reflect the light of the stars, clearly illuminating your path. The mailbox flag up marks the end of the laneway, but it'll take you a little bit of time to hoof it up to the cabin. Time to reflect, time to plan. What do you want to do?
I want to get inside because it's fucking cold outside.
Yeah, same.
Oh, please. This is hardly... Well, okay. Yeah, it's unpleasant, but it could be worse.
You said we were coming here to find someone who wanted to turn themselves in, not freeze my tits off.
Just simmer down. We got this.
I'm trudging to the cabin.
I'm right behind him.
Okay.
Look, it's an easy job. Get in, get out, go somewhere tropical, have, fruity cocktails with an umbrella in it or something. I don't know.
Can I get that in writing next time?
Take it up with somebody higher on the food chain than me, all right?
Oh, believe me, I will.
Civvies.
The walk up to the cabin is exactly as terrible as you hoping it wouldn't be. By the time you arrive, things like stealth and tactics feel secondary to just getting inside and getting this shit over with. A large snowdrift lines the makeshift walkway up to the porch, like someone had shoveled the snow fairly recently. Judging by the size of the piles, it must snow deep here and quite regularly, which corroborates the awful slog up you had up the laneway. Smoke pours steadily from the chimney, but there's really just the one way of ingress. Windows on the north and west sides are firmly shuttered and locked. The rusted nature of the metal seems like they haven't been opened in a long time. There's a door on the south side of the building, and really your only way inside. It's a small building, can't be more than 1-2 rooms inside. A decent deck and overhang are the only ornamentation to the face of it. The door itself is solid, but if you have to ram it, at least one of you could do it. The closer you get to the building, the more the whole thing seems like a waste. All this for one guy?
I'm going to gesture for the others to hold up. Can I tell if there's any movement inside? Are there lights on?
It definitely seems inhabited, at least by the smoke, and it does seem like there's light coming out of the cracks in the door. But as far as like movement, you don't really have a good way to spy inside. The downside to winter is everybody tends to board up.
True.
How do you want to handle this, ma'am?
Ma'am, I like that. Okay. I'm a door kicker. I can get the door. You two come in behind me. Agreed?
Understood.
Wait, aren't we expected? Shouldn't you, announce yourself and knock first?
Are we expected?
You're not expected.
No, we're going in loud.
Okay, so what is it? Who wants to go first? Like, Kyla, is Iris going to kick in the door and everybody's going to follow in after you? Or?
Well, that's the plan I have. I'm open to suggestions, though.
I mean,
should we take a look around and just make sure this is the only way in?
All right. That actually makes a little more sense than just going in. Scout out the perimeter.
Counterpoint, it's really cold outside. I'm tired and I'm cranky and I'd love some coffee. Can we just go inside?
All right. Counterpoint. You go with me inside. you loop around the other side and make sure there's not an exit way.
Understood. So I will do so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You start shimmy around the house, but it becomes pretty obvious to you, like once you've got around to the other side, that it was a fool's errand, and you're just tromping around in the snow for nothing. Meanwhile, the other two, the door swings open faster and louder than you were going for. It slams against the wall, having been blown in completely. Maybe the wind was with you, and maybe you're stronger than you thought. The noise is excruciating in the relative silence of the wilderness. Light spills from inside. There's a rather tacky chandelier providing most of it, but the hearth is no slouch, nor is the desk lamp. You notice things in slow motion, like a car accident. The horrendous bearskin rug beneath the chandelier in front of the fire. The small table and chair in the near corner, like a cute breakfast nook in one of those homesteading catalogs. The huge bookshelf perched on the wall behind the desk itself, of course. That's hard not to notice. It takes up all your focus. It commands the room, placed opposite the doorway. It stares at you like a loaded gun on the other end of a standoff. It's large, well-made, scattered with paper and ink and pens and a typewriter. It's less of a desk and more of the idea of a desk, plucked from some detective novel from 30 years ago, dropped into this quaint cabin in the middle of nowhere. It's comical. It's a joke. And like all jokes, it quickly turns to violence. Neither of you remembers who draws first. The man behind the desk twitches, looking to his left. The rifle on the wall is too obvious. Your hands go to your weapons instinctively, and the tension in the room builds to a sharpened point. What do you do?
Oh, give me an excuse, buddy. Just give me an excuse.
The man ignores your questions, muttering to himself. You're not supposed to be here yet, he says quietly.
Sir, calm down. I am an attorney. I am here to make sure that everything is on board. Your rights will be respected. I was told that you were going to surrender yourself, so please put the weapon down and let's talk.
There's rising tension in his voice, and he points a finger in your direction, screaming, "You're too early! You're always too early!"
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir, but if you could just put the weapon down and we
Too
can all
early?
just...
He goes for the gun while shouting out to you, "I never have time to finish."
I'm gonna fire.
Okay.
I'm going to try not to kill, so I guess a called shot for the shoulder.
Sure. Are you rolling your dice in the somewhere?
Yeah, I rolled it in the Discord, and that's a crit.
Success or failure?
Critical success.
Okay. So you all have just like handgun service weapons. Nothing too super fancy. Refresh my memory because I always forget literally everything about Delta Green whenever we play. What does a critical on a weapon roll do? Is it max
I can
damage?
pull up the book real quick. I got it up already.
I said across her nose, not up it.
Double damage.
Double damage. Okay. All right. I'm not even going to bother because this gentleman does not have a whole lot of health. The body of the man twitches as bullets enter him. He never makes it to the rifle. He stumbles backwards into the bookshelf, pulling it down on top of him. Books cascade everywhere onto the table under it. They bury him in all tomes in tomes of all shapes and sizes, piling up. The heavy shelving collapses onto the desk, capping the entire thing like the lid of a coffin.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'm in shock.
Would you
Not the
like
worst thing
to?
I've ever had to do.
Would you like to roll to keep your composures?
Sure, why not?
Yep.
I wasn't expecting violence.
And I'm not adapted, so
I rolled 33. That's amazing.
31. I pass.
Okay, so this is definitely not what you were expecting, but your nerves are steelier than you would have imagined. Meanwhile, Judson, you're out trying to sneak around back. You're like waist deep in snow, and you hear gunfire. Pop, pop.
All right. I guess I run back to the entrance.
So eventually, as you're standing there, weapons trained at the desk, Judson comes in, and you see the same sight that everyone did, this rather quaint-looking cabin with a nice fire going in the hearth, and the bookshelf overturned onto the desk, with possibly someone underneath it.
All right.
Since I've got some level of composure, I'm going to try to see if the guy is dead, if I can find his body.
Okay. So you creep around to the desk, and you're not hearing any kind of sounds. And when you look over or around it, you can see that there is a body lying there under the books, smashed underneath the shelving. You find it hard to believe that he's still breathing.
Quick, get this off him. He's still alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. You find it hard to believe that he could still be breathing. Like
that he could.
He's definitely not.
My mistake. Wishful thinking. I say that until I see his head roll off. I'm like, never mind. No. I think you got him, agent.
He was going for
I'm sure
his
it was
rifle.
necessary, ma'am.
He was going for a rifle. I was protecting myself and our esteemed colleague here.
I'm just pointing out that typically when you're going to negotiate someone's surrender, you want them to come back alive.
I was also going to point out, if I hadn't done that, he would have blown your head off.
You don't know. How do we even know this thing is loaded? I'm going to look for the rifle. Where's the rifle?
Okay. It's a hunting rifle. It's hanging on the wall there to his side. Despite its age, it seems to be particularly well cared for, and it's definitely loaded.
Oh, okay. Point to you. Click, and I put it back up. Now what do we do?
What did he mean when he said we were here too early?
I don't know. What time is it? I look at my phone or watch, whatever's appropriate.
It's like super late. It's headed on towards midnight.
Did you have a timer? Is this even the guy you were looking for?
Pretty sure this is the right one.
Did you have a set time?
No, we don't have set times on these things. Have you ever been on an op before?
An op? I roll my eyes and just go, whatever. Here, let's at least get him out from under all this. He deserves more than that. So I'm going to try to move the bookshelves and get him out.
Well, you have to make an even bigger mess. The bookshelf is not quite so heavy now that all the books have been dumped out of it, but it's kind of hard to pull a body along a bunch of books. But rather ungraciously, you pull him out from behind the desk and towards the center of the room. And yeah, he's just laying there bleeding. It seems like your aim was a little more on than you had intended it to be. It must have hit something serious because it seems like the dude bled out super quick.
Damn. Ugh.
Nice shooting, Tex.
At least it was fast.
What does this guy even do? What was he working on? I'm gonna head over to the desk and see if I can sort through all the mess of books and papers to see what he was working on.
Do you want to sort through the books, or do you want to sort through the papers on the desk, or the desk itself?
I'm more interested on the papers that were on the desk.
Okay. The papers on the desk seem to be letters. They're stern letters advising the nature of copyright law in the state, received letters of rejection from several publishing companies, as well as statements of payment from those publishing companies still sending royalties from Mr. Knight's earlier works. Do you want to investigate further?
Yeah, sure. I'm interested.
Okay. The letters of rejection are broad statements refusing Knight's newer works. It seems he was an author of no small repute. Some are overly form letters, but those that are more personalized talk about market saturation and Knight's works being, quote, too derivative. Letters from publishing companies that worked with him in the past are begging him to consider doing something more novel and outside of the horror genre. The royalty payments are paltry sums and nothing for books published earlier than 15 years ago. Whatever made Knight popular before seems to have petered out a long time ago. It's a wonder that this place still has the lights on. It's doubtful the royalties are enough for someone to afford food, much less a private residence.
So Mr. Knight here was a horror writer? Why does that make him of interest to you, Agent?
I don't know. I don't ask questions about my orders.
Yeah, of course you don't. Typical goon.
Hey, watch it.
I'm just gonna keep busying myself with these papers while the other two do whatever they want.
Sorry for sending you on a wild goose chase out there.
No problem.
Yeah, this is weird. Why would they? I'm gonna check out the books.
Okay. The books seem to be mostly horror novels, books on law, and a few pseudoscientific books on time and the nature of the universe. Do you want to look at them more closely?
Yes.
Which of the categories are you more interested in?
I'm kind of interested in the pseudoscience.
These are almost complete garbage. While there's some multiverse for dummies types books here in the pile, a surprising number are sociology or group psychology books. The overarching themes of the latter books deal on the idea of shared reality, mimetic mutation, as well as a pop culture focused book documenting the viral phenomena of public discourse.
It's a book about internet memes, basically.
The science of internet memes, but yep.
I'm gonna just flip through that one.
Okay. It basically documents like viral marketing strategies, how a meme goes viral, what the concept of virality is, suggestions on how to make things viral, and what that means for communication in the future. It's really high-minded, but honestly, it's kind of basic science.
It's all Greek to me.
Was the desk knocked over?
No, the desk is still standing. It's a very heavy desk.
Okay, then I'm gonna, once I'm tired of looking at all these rejection letters, I'm just gonna kind of go over to the desk and, stack them up in a nice pile there, and then I guess I'll just kind of take a look at the desk while I'm there.
Okay, so you pull the drawers out and stuff, and the contents of the desk include mundane things like a letter opener and a stapler, along with pens and erasers, stamps and envelopes and the like. At first glance, a lot of this looks worthless. If you want to find something more interesting in the desks, you'll have to give me a search check.
What is my search? Where is my search? Ooh, my search is only 20, so someone else might want to take a look at this. Because, oh my god, I actually made it. I got a 14.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I find something.
Upon further investigation, one drawer is shallower than it one drawer is shallower than it should suggest.
I knew you could do it.
Feeling around, you find a secret panel. Tucked inside the secret panel is a small book detailing the repair of books and other papers that have been damaged or defaced, along with a key and a woodworking kit.
All right, I will pull all that out and put it on the desk and say, well, this is interesting. I don't know why he had this hidden away. Guess he was into whittling?
Well, what else are you gonna do up in the middle of nowhere like this?
Receive a lot of rejection letters, apparently. This guy apparently used to be some kind of author and isn't much of one anymore.
Shit.
Also, I hold up the key. Has anybody seen a safe or lockbox or something?
If you look at the key more closely, you notice that it has a label, but
What
the label
does it
just says attic.
Oh, wait. This place has an attic?
Apparently.
From what you know about the size of this house and construction of cabins in general, it does not have an attic.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, huh? All right, well, here, I'll toss the key to the agent, saying like, well, you can have fun with that then.
I'll fumble with it for a moment. Jeez, did he live somewhere before this?
I don't see any other. I guess that's a good question. Like, do any of the rejection letters, are they all to this address, or do they all have different addresses or anything?
Mm-hmm. They're all to this address.
Yeah, as far as his mail goes, it was all coming right here.
Speaking of mail, you remember that the mailbox had the flag up as though he had intended to send out a letter.
I'm not going back out there. Sheriff, or I forgot your character's name. Ryan.
Ludson.
Judson.
Hudson?
Judson. Yeah.
Judson, why don't you go check the mail, see if there's any more rejection letters or if he was sending anything of interest.
Judson kind of does a mock salute. Acknowledged and understood, counselor.
Iris just face palms.
I just lean over. Where did you find this guy?
I didn't find him. The people who I work for found him.
Yeah.
So just you're gonna trudge back into the snow and try to check out the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I don't even have to tell you that it is cold as hell, like walking all the way back, and it's really, really quiet, but like an eerie kind of quiet. Like you feel like you should hear wind since it's kind of whipping about your face, but you don't really hear much of anything. It's very cold and it's very lonely and it's very dark. But when you get out there, you find that there are indeed a few letters inside the mailbox. They're marked with proper postage, made out to several offices, some local and some not. The addresses include what you assume must be the utility company for the area. There are several letters addressed to the district's congressional representative and one to the Library of Congress.
All right. I guess I'll read all of them.
Okay. Which kind of letters do you want to start with first?
I'll start with the letters to the congressional representative.
The envelopes themselves have been stamped return to sender at least twice and haven't been opened. When you open them, you find letters containing a ranting, meandering diatribe about, quote, works owed and, quote, copyright reform, but the combined nature of the personal and political ramblings make them difficult to dissect.
All right, I'll open up the one to the Library of Congress.
The letter contains a copyright claim for a work referred to as My Final Novel.
All right, and then utility bills is just utility bills.
The letter addressed to the utility company is a standard issue form, but curiously, where an indication of payment should be, there's merely a text scrawled, keep it all turned on, and an angry hand with an involved laborious scrawl.
All right, was like electricity or anything, did that seem to be on in the cabin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'll make my way back into the cabin.
Okay. People in the cabin, is there anything else you want to look at?
I am going to take a perfunctory glance at the law books that are strewn about, and if I find one that catches my interest, I'm going to pick it up and read it by the fire so I can warm up.
Okay. The law books seem to be largely devoted to the complicated and frankly impenetrable nature of copyright law. There's some well-known rulings and filings that have been highlighted, and a small number of these books includes laws related to national security and spy programs, including binders of printed out texts of various secrecy and non-disclosure laws in the United States and its allies.
I will grab those ones because that sounds semi-interesting. The rest of copyright law makes my eyes glaze over. That's why I became a criminal attorney. And then, I'm just going to settle up on that nice bearskin rug there and flip through this by the nice toasty fire.
Sections of the binders and of the printed out text are like highlighted, and he's very interested in things like state secrecy laws, particularly secrecy laws as it relates to allies of the United States. The recent 2016 act in Japan, the State Secrecy Act, there are several passages highlighted along with handwritten notes. He seems concerned that secrecy laws are a form of narrative control, and this theme, like obsession almost of narrative control, permeates all of his notes during these works. But also, while you're sitting by the fire itself, very smoky fire burns in the hearth, and there's evidence that wood might have been stacked up before, but there's precious few logs now. The fire seems to be partially fed by heavy manuscripts, a stack of which are piled next to the log.
What? Did he not have enough wood? I'm gonna look through the manuscripts.
Cursory reading suggests that these are copies of whatever recent book Knight has been peddling. Large sections have been blacked out by a dark marker, making much of it unreadable. The cover pages are simply titled My Final Novel.
Boy, I heard a writer's block. It doesn't seem that's quite what his problem was.
Well, that's one way to get rid of old manuscripts, I guess.
Doesn't seem like he was making much progress on it from the size of this stack.
What was this guy's deal?
Seems awfully interested in not just copyright, but secrecy laws. There's a lot of stuff in here about NDAs and top secret classified stuff. Even some foreign laws that I don't think would apply to an American novel. I mean, I guess maybe if you publish it overseas, but top secret?
That's abnormal.
Definitely seems like he was obsessed with something.
Hopefully not us.
So Judson, by this time, I'm sure you've returned with a stack of letters.
Judson leaves the letters to the Library of Congress and the in the house on the desk where he presumes Daphne will look at them, and he approaches and what's your character's name, Kyla?
Iris.
Iris, and shows her the utility bill. You ever try this trick, ma'am?
No, that's a guaranteed way to get your utilities switched off.
It seems to have worked for him.
The hell? Yeah, this guy was like super obsessed with like secrecy and shit too.
Oh, there's some stuff about that in those other letters. I don't think I didn't get it.
I'll let me take a look there, Judson. Maybe it's a little above your pay grade. I will pick the letters that he put on the desk and start looking through those.
Well, yeah, if you combine the law books with the highlighted marks, it seems that he's extremely concerned about the nature of information control. It seems like there's kind of an idea forming about him where you think that like he's involved in some kind of conspiracy involving controlling public media or controlling perception of the media, but like also all media, like stories, movies, comics. Like if it is a thing that is a communication, he's obsessed with who owns it, who controls it, who regulates it.
Huh. Yeah, well, when I come to that realization, I will spread that to everyone else and be like, yeah, if I'm reading all this right, it seems like it's not just secrecy. He was more interested in the flow of information, but not like just information, but the control of a narrative or all narratives.
Well, history's written by the winners.
Yeah, but like there's even stuff about here, like television shows and comic books. Who cares about that kind of crap?
I don't know. You've seen the movie theaters every time one of those stupid superhero movies come out.
Ugh, don't even tell me about it. You get me started on the infantilization of American men these days. It's all beyond me. Is there anything else we need to do here? I mean, don't you have someone you need to like call this into?
I'll do a quick sweep of the cabin, see if we missed anything else.
All right.
You still haven't checked all of the books that were in the pile. There's still the horror novels, but then also along one of the walls, what you thought was merely like a decorative hanging kind of falls, and behind it is a hallway. It seems like there's some more rooms beyond this first one.
You two can handle that. I'm sure you have to do your, what is it they say in the movies, sweep and clear. I'll just keep myself busy and I'll just go back over and pick up some random books and start leafing through them.
Okay.
I promise not to make you trudge through the snow again, officer.
That's appreciated, ma'am. Judson raises his gun and he goes into that hallway.
Okay.
I'm right behind him.
The hallway is short, but it has a lot of things to say in that time. Unfortunately, all of them are vulgar. The dust would suggest that no one has cleaned it in a long time. A carpet laying along the length of it has been scuffed and torn in so many places, and it barely sits evenly in the middle of the hallway anymore. There's 3 doors, equidistant from each other. The only lighting comes from a light fixture on the wall, giving the entire place a gloomy look. It's not very homely at all. Doors all have little plaques fitted to the front, suggesting that what they might be used for. In order, from closest to furthest from you, they read kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom.
Bedroom first.
Judson nods.
Okay. You go over to the room marked bedroom, and when you try the knob, you find that it is locked.
Kitchen.
Kitchen first.
All right, we try the kitchen.
Back in the main area of the cabin, you're looking through some of the books, and you notice that the Knight seems to have purchased the completed works of noted horror author Sutter Kane, including titles as The Whisperer in the Dark, Haunter Out of Time, and The Thing in the Basement. The copies are dog-eared and well-read.
I see someone had someone they must have been looking up to here. Not being a fan of a trite genre like horror, I'm not familiar with the name, but I'll flip through some of the ones that are dog-eared to see if there's any passages that he seemed to be interested in.
He is actually interested in the middle sections of the story, specifically Kane's meta-narrative horror plot. The way the novels work is that there's this idea that there is something that controls shared experience or shared reality outside of our control. And were that thing to be malicious, it would cause all kinds of horror in the natural world. This makes itself known in the way that, like, one of the stories is about a writer who writes horror stories on his typewriter, and the things he writes comes true. Another one is about a writer who hears things from an evil ancient, some kind of godlike figure outside of his control, and he writes those stories down, and it drives people mad when they read them. Sutter Kane seems very obsessed with writers going insane and hurting people. Apparently, all horror authors tend to write about writers, which is kind of pedantic for you.
It really is. Like, come on. I know they say to write what you know, but how does anyone supposed to be interested in this? Although he certainly wrote a lot of books, didn't he?
Meanwhile, in the kitchen, this area is beyond disgusting. Nominally, the features of the room include a sink, a drying rack, a counter, a fridge, and an oven, but they clearly haven't been cleaned in a very, very long time. Dishes are piled in the sink with all kinds of film and mold growing from them. The door to the oven is completely busted, and it sits slightly ajar, revealing a soot-charred inside. All the cupboards are doorless and bare, leaving a very unlived-in look. The only thing remotely fresh is a carving board with some kind of meat on it. Glancing at the fridge, you're not looking forward to opening that monstrosity either.
Jesus Christ, I've seen cleanlier places in the sandbox.
I think Harewood grew up near a pork plant, and he's more able to get through this kind of stuff, so he will search the area as best he can.
Where do you want to start?
Let's go with the refrigerator.
The instant he goes for the refrigerator, Iris steps back and just holds her nose.
Compared to the rest of the kitchen, the inside is actually clean and well organized. It's by far the most disgusting part, however. Categorized into torso, arms, legs, and head, the shelves of the fridge currently contain the dismembered body of someone.
All right.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
You wanna roll to keep your composure there, friends?
Sure.
Sanity, ho!
I succeed.
All right. Well, if you succeed, then you don't take any sanity damage. If somebody fails, you take 1, because it's unsettling that there is a body just chopped up in the fridge.
And so neatly organized.
Well, I think we know what that is on the cutting board. Oh God, I'm gonna be sick. I'm starting to not feel bad about shooting him.
Do you want to poke around in the kitchen some more?
Sure.
Do you want to poke around in the fridge some more?
Does it seem like there's other stuff in there? I guess if we've already opened it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know more about the body, maybe figure out who it is or what happened, you're going to have to take a closer look at it.
Yeah, I guess if it's not unrecognizable, Harewood is clearly not disturbed by it, so he would look at it.
Okay. The body is an unidentified male whose features seem vaguely familiar to you for some reason. It can't have been in here for more than a few hours, which leaves one to wonder where exactly the parts were moved from. As it pokes around, it looks like something is stuffed in the mouth of the dismembered head.
All right. It just looks vaguely familiar. No, nothing else from that.
Yeah, you feel like you should know who it is, but you also have no idea who it is.
All right. Harewood will kind of scratch his head, but I think he'll probably just, if he can't think of anything else to do with this stuff, he'll probably think it's just better to leave it as it is and continue to look around the kitchen elsewhere.
Okay. So you're going to leave whatever is stuffed into the head?
Oh, I guess, yeah, he'll look at that.
Okay. It is really gross, parting the lips of a corpse. But jammed in between its teeth is just a note written on some rough paper. It takes a little bit to work it out from the jaws, but you are left with a note that is a little bit gory and it's kind of disgusting.
And what does it say?
You open it up and read it, and it's just the same scrawl that you saw on the power bill letter. Is just a simple text that says, "Now the real game begins." As you turn around to show this to your coworker, you realize that you are sitting down at a table. It's actually pretty nice outside. You realize that you're sitting outside. You're on some kind of sidewalk. It's very warm out. There's a pleasant breeze. You think you can hear music from somewhere. Looking at all the seats of other people sitting around you at all the other tables, you think that you're seated in some kind of outdoor restaurant. Looks pretty upscale. You don't quite remember where this town is from, but the leaves are currently green. So it must be sometime in early spring. There's fresh flowers everywhere. There's a pleasant smell to things. And you're seated across from a very pretty girl who's looking at you very intently.
Hi.
Hi. You don't really open up well on dates, do you?
No, not really.
Yeah, I kind of been getting that. It was really awkward on the ride over.
I'm sorry.
Well, don't worry about it. I mean, when I first heard from your mom that you were back in town, I was kind of hoping things were going to go better, but, you probably don't remember, but I had that crush on you back in middle school.
Yeah. Sorry. At the base, everyone's a guy. You kind of forget these things. Sorry.
At the base, Jack, did you sign up for the army? You told me you were going to college.
Oh yeah. No, my yeah, that didn't work out. My dad, he got that. He got sick.
Yeah, it was really tragic when your dad got sick. But they say he's doing better now. You probably don't want to go visit him, but
yeah,
your brother really wants you to, and your mom really wants you to.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that later.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a fun date. Listen, Jack, I get it. If it's too much being here for you again, we don't have to do this.
No, it's fine. I'm told I need to get used to living back in the States and stuff.
From behind you, or all around you, or in front of you, you hear a voice shouting at you, "Wrong, wrong, wrong, it's all wrong! This isn't a good story!"
I'll turn around. I'll just kind of like play it off like I'm just like looking around for something, but
Behind
no one's
you
around.
is the living body of the man that you think is supposed to be dead on the cabin floor. He looks very angry with you, and he's holding a knife. He gestures at you with wildly and singing, "Could you have come up with some better lines? This is important."
Oh dear.
This is great. I am loving this.
Lines?
"Yes, lines," he says, punctuating with a downward stab.
You're the writer, dead man.
You put your arms up to block his thrusts, and they cut deep into your arms, and then suddenly you're bleeding. It feels like it should be easy to defend against him, given your, martial training, but you can't seem to do much. You're frozen in time as he stabs you over and over again. Your own blood clouds your vision as he screams over and over again, "The story is important! The characters are important! I need better stories!" When you wake up, you're lying on the floor of the kitchen. For Iris, you saw your friend reach into the kitchen or reach into the fridge, pull something out, read it, and then just fall onto the ground for all of half of a second.
Hey, wake up.
Do I do that? Wake up.
Yes.
Hey,
How many fingers am I holding up? I hold up 2 fingers.
2.
Good. Okay. Not concussed. Jesus. What the hell, man? You just
you read a
keeled
lot,
over
ma'am?
on me.
Don't read, ma'am. There are a lot of great shows now. Just watch those.
Do you have any
Anyway,
idea how few TV stations we pick up on base? I'm living off of comic books right now.
I guess that's not quite reading. Don't do it though.
What do
Let's look around here. I kind of hold my head. Let's just. I don't. You looking for anything specific, ma'am?
Are you okay?
Clearly not, ma'am. But let's just get this over with. Let's leave.
You don't have to keep calling me ma'am. You can call me Iris.
Okay, Iris.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah. Let's just get this over with.
All right. Now I'll go to close the fridge.
Okay. You close the fridge.
Yeah, I got the willies, man. I got the willies so bad.
All right. Judson will continue to look around. If there's anything else.
You haven't checked out the cutting board exactly, and you could also look around in the sink.
All right. Judson will look at the cutting board. There's nothing paper related or anything like that, is there?
No. The meat on the board doesn't look completely rotten, and the knife sticking to the board is a simple chef's knife, but it's sharp at least. It's really hard to tell what kind of meat this is. Maybe venison? The knife seems familiar to you.
If it does, Judson will go over to the sink. He doesn't like that anymore.
Yeah, I'm checking the sink too.
You regret needing to investigate the sink. It's stomach-churning work, and you suspect that the only reason there isn't a cloud of flies around this is the fact that it's the dead of winter. After shifting plates and forks, you get the impression that there's nothing useful here.
All right. I'm going to head out, and I'm going to kick down that bedroom door.
Do you want to attempt to force the bedroom door?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to probably want to use... Wasn't there a... Can you just do your strength times 5 then?
Absolutely. 30 out of 85. Pass.
Okay. So you slam into it, and it opens into a closet, but like not a very big closet. It's a room is the about the length of the door, like length and width of the door, and it is completely empty. When you step away from it, the door naturally rolls backwards and swings shut. And it's like the hinges and like the latch for the door that you had shattered when you smashed it open just kind of fixes itself. The door is still locked.
Wait. It fixed itself?
Mm-hmm. You broke the door off of its like doorknob when you opened it, and then when it swung closed again, it fixed itself.
Okay, that's weird. And disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to roll sanity?
Yes, please. That's a pass. I'm okay.
Okay, so you take 1 point of sanity damage because of everything else that you've seen here. That was deliberately supernatural.
Yeah, that's my breaking point.
Okay, you really don't want to be in this hallway anymore. You don't care about what anything could be in here. You just don't want to be in here. You want to be somewhere warm, somewhere where you know what the facts are, and so you feel like fleeing to the front of the cabin would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here before anything else weird happens.
So back in the front of the cabin, Daphne, you're leafing through books or whatever, and then you hear like a shriek, and then Iris just comes running into the room.
Okay, I will drop the book I was currently looking at. Just let that fall to the floor in front of the fire, and I will run over to Iris and try to grab her by the shoulders and be like, Iris, what's happening? What's going on? What's wrong?
Cannibal.
What?
And I kicked the doorknob off the door, and it fixed itself.
You calm down. You are not making any sense right now. You need to take a breath. Deep breath. Come on. Ow, just easy. I'm sure there's a rational explanation to whatever it is you are going on about. Where's Juggerson? Judson, yeah, him. Where did he go?
We were in the kitchen, and he pulled something out of the fridge, and he looked at it, and then he just dropped, and then he woke back up, and I went to the bedroom, but the door was locked, so I busted down the door, and it just opened onto like a closet, and then it swung shut, and then the doorknob fixed itself, and I don't really want to be here anymore.
Okay, I'm just, at this point, Daphne's just giving Iris a girl, are you for real kind of expression, but she's not saying anything. She's just like, okay, Iris, tell you what, why don't you come over here and sit down by the fire and just kind of relax, take a moment to get your wits about you. Let me go find Judson and we can see about getting out of here, okay?
Okay.
You just stay here, all right? Take a deep breath. Does she have her gun out still?
No.
Okay, good. I was about to say, make sure you put that away. Okay, and then I will kind of give her a sidelong look and then go head down the hall and start calling out for Judson. Judson!
Judson will. I guess he'll probably still be in the kitchen. He'll be like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, can you come here a sec? I think Iris needs some help.
Judson will kind of saunter out back into the cabin.
Yeah, I mean, Daphne.
My help, ma'am.
Well, like, I don't know what you guys are doing back here, but Iris seems very shaken up. Is everything all right? She said something about cannibals, and then she broke a door, and then the door fixed itself. Like, I'm looking down the hall. Do I see any doors that look like they've been kicked in?
You do not see any doors that look like they've been cooked in. It's just the three doors: the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom.
Yeah, I don't know what she's on about. Does any of this? And also, she said you passed out. Are you okay?
Yeah. There was a guy in the fridge. Don't read. Just
What?
don't read. You've been reading a lot, but don't read anymore. Yeah.
I'm like looking over his shoulder. Do I see a fridge?
Yeah, there is a fridge in the kitchen.
Does it look like it's a big enough refrigerator that someone could fit inside?
If they were
Under
packed
norm.
in there.
Okay, so it will kind of dawn on me. I'd be like, "Oh, you mean there's a body in the fridge?"
Yeah.
That's okay. I can follow that. I guess maybe it was a good thing Iris shot this guy. But I don't get. What do you mean read? Like, how do you read a body?
Oh,
Is this some psychic bullshit? Because I'm not into that. Let me tell you right now. I don't believe in chakras or auras and none of that bullshit.
no, like if he's got like a note, don't read it.
If he had a note,
Yeah.
where
Don't
is
read
it? Did you bring it? Where do you have it? What did it say?
Now the real fun begins.
Huh. Okay, yeah, this guy's a real sick fuck. Look, let's go check up on Iris and make sure she isn't hyperventilating, and then I think we need to get out of here, and then you guys can, I don't know, call for backup or CSI or whatever you guys do, because I don't know that there's much else we can do unless you really want to look around the rest of this place.
Yeah, I'll handle that. I guess she checked the bedroom. We'll check the bathroom. I'll check the bathroom. You just go back and talk to her.
Okay. Just don't be too long. She looks like she's about ready to come running out of this place.
Okay, so
And then
Justin will head over to the bedroom. You'll head
The bathroom.
bathroom, sorry, and then Daphne, you head back to the cabin,
Yep.
the main area of the cabin.
That's
So Daphne and Iris, can you both roll alertness checks?
Alertness. All right. Where?
Oh dear.
I forget. Wait, hold on. Is that 1 or 0? No, I rolled a 1, not 1. So it's super good.
Yeah, I think that's a critical success, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Right on the money, 60 out of 60.
Nice.
Okay. So you both notice that the body of Mr. Knight is missing.
Daphne, where's the body?
Where's you're Daphne? I'm Iris. Where's the body?
That's how disturbed I was. I forgot my name for a second. Yes, Iris. There's no body. Where's the body?
I don't know. It was right there.
Is there still like blood stains from where it was? No. What about the bookshelf and the desk?
The bookshelf and the desk are still disturbed, and it looks like you pulled something out from under it. But there's no trail of blood. There's no blood stains from where it was laying. There's no body.
What did we pull out from under it? Oh, right, the body.
The body. Yeah.
What?
Judson, is there anyone back there with you?
So Judson, you open the bathroom.
Okay.
This room is as unappealing as the rest of the house, yet more so. It contains the standard sink, medicine cabinet, toilet, and bathtub. The entire place looks like it could have seen better days, but in stark contrast to the rather well-kept nature of the front of the cabin. The sink and the toilet don't look too bad, but the bathtub is nightmarish. Thick, blackish-brown stains coat the entirety of the inside, and it seems to spill out onto the floor. You can't imagine anyone has used it for bathing in quite some time.
Ew.
Gross.
And then while you're looking at that, You hear people call out to you from the cabin.
All right, I'll make my way back there. Bathroom's clear. What do you want?
Our Vic is MIA.
Yeah, I'm just pointing at where the body is supposed to be and giving him a look. That's our problem.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. You were the one in here, counselor.
Yeah, well, there was a body in here when I was in here, and then I came to talk to you, and then I came back, and then there wasn't one. And he sure as hell didn't walk by me when I was in the hallway. And I'm assuming, Iris, you didn't see him, like, get up and leave, right?
No, kill was confirmed. He was dead.
There's not even any blood. Like, what?
What the ever-loving fuck?
I mean, he's got to be in here, right?
Okay. I dealt with something like this before on my last opera. This will be fine. We just find him and kill him again.
Or we could talk to him? Maybe, arrest him? Isn't that what you people do?
I think the dead body in the fridge kind of precludes any sort of sit down and chit chat.
Look, he may be a murderer, but they still have rights in this country, okay? Like, we need to do this by the book. Although, well, this isn't exactly by the book, but I walk over and I take the hunting rifle off the wall. Just in case.
You know how to use that thing?
It's point and click, right? I'm sure I can figure it out.
Finger off the trigger unless you mean to kill whatever you're aiming at, and always be aware of what's behind what you're shooting at.
Oh, right. Okay. Got it. I guess let's... I kind of do like a mock like commando thing. Like, let's move out, sweep and clear. Whatever. Listen, I'm not the one in charge of this stuff, all right? I was just here for legal aid. I don't know what you all want from me. You're flipping out, and this guy here barely says 2 words. Like,
Oh, counselor, it's adorable, really.
Oh, yeah, nice try. Take me out to dinner first before you talk like that.
All right, Judson, you got any idea where this guy might have gone?
Well, if he wasn't in that bedroom,
There is no bedroom. I kicked it open and it was literally a closet.
okay. Someone found some keys to an attic, right?
Yeah, I found a key to the attic and I gave it to Iris. You can try and find it, I guess.
Suppose so. It's weird. When I passed out, I thought I saw him. I mean, I guess since we're talking about dead bodies disappearing, I might as well talk about it. I saw him when I passed out.
What? He was in the room walking by when you blacked out, or
I was somewhere else, and he was there, and then I woke up. But that's
so you were
that's stupid. That's stupid.
Well, at least you know that, so that comforts me slightly. Boy, next time they call me out on one of these gigs, I'm going to make sure my 2 officers have a fucking psych profile done first.
You realize we can hear you, right?
Whatever. Let's get on with this. And then I try to cock the hunting rifle, even though it's not a shotgun, to look tough. And then I make the sound with my mouth. Let's go. And then I go to the hallway.
Okay. Oh, where do you want to go look?
I'm going to assume like that they've done the first 2-3 doors, so I guess I'll just go to the next one after the bathroom.
All right, so it goes kitchen is the first one. They've thoroughly searched the kitchen. The bathroom is the next one. No
Okay.
one's technically searched the bathroom yet. And then the bedroom is the third one.
All right. I will try the door to the bedroom.
The door to the bedroom is locked.
Okay. Hey, Iris. Do you think maybe the key might work for this? I know it's not an attic, but it's locked.
You know what? I'm gonna humor you and try it anyway.
You put the key in the lock and you turn it, and it makes a really weird noise. It's hard to explain what about it is weird, but you just feel wrong or that you did something wrong, but the door remains locked.
Ugh. What was that? Did anybody else feel that?
Feels like somebody walked over my grave.
Ugh. I don't. You know what? Let's leave this door for later. Let's keep going. And then
the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, we technically haven't searched the bathroom, so yeah, you can.
Yeah. There's the bathtub, the toilet, and the medicine cabinet. Which do you want to look at?
Medicine cabinet.
Okay. So daily use items make their appearance here. Headache medicine, shaving cream, razors, and a key. The label on the key says only for emergencies.
That is a very interesting label for a key.
Something about this place is making my skin crawl.
You're telling me? Look at oh god, what is with that bathtub? I am not staying in here. I go back into the hallway.
Do you want to check out the bathtub?
I guess, yeah.
All right. So who wants to look at the bathtub?
I'll look
Out
at the
in the hallway.
bathtub.
The ecru covering the bathtub is disgusting. It's dried now, but you get the idea that it was rather greasy or oily. There's a familiar coppery smell to it, and you can't help but assume the worst. Curiously, the drain seems to be clogged with some kind of foreign object. You can get a better look at it, but you'll need to take some strength to wrench it free.
I'll do it.
Okay.
And gripe about how disgusting it is the entire time.
It takes some effort to wrench free, but there's a meat hook buried in the drain. It's rusted, but the ecru on it is fresher than what's drying in the tub. So, Iris, you are hearing a beeping noise in your ear. Like it's kind of rhythmic, like a beep, 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 a bit like a heart monitor, which would make sense because you're staring at a heart monitor. You're staring at a heart monitor and an IV in a hospital bed. And as you look around, you're actually standing in some kind of hospital room. The shades have been opened and they look out into sort of a gray sort of day. It's impossible to tell really what time it is, except for, sometime during the day or what the weather is like or even where you are. You're alone in the room except for whoever is occupying the bed, who you have never seen this woman before in your life, but she seems to be, 10, 15 years older than you. As you look down, you realize that you're holding her hand for some reason, and she's looking at you with a rather worried expression. Jack, are you all right?
Jack?
Jack, look, I understand that the diagnosis is not what either of us hoped for, but I've had a good run.
Yeah. I guess you have.
Jack, I realize your father and I don't talk very much anymore, but will you stop by and at least say something to him since you're here?
I'm a little confused, I think. Or you're a little confused. I'm not Jack. I'm Iris.
Of course you're Jack. I mean, listen, I have cancer, not dementia.
No, I'm Iris. Look,
Sweetie, if that's what you want to be called now, I mean, I guess that's all right, but that's a rather sudden change for me. I heard about these things on the telly, but I'd never thought that my own. Sorry, sweetheart.
I'm just gonna drop her hand, and I'm gonna. It's like, no, I'm not playing this game. I'm gonna leave the hospital room.
Okay, so you bump into someone who had been standing behind you. And as you turn to look at you, you're staring in the face of the man you thought you had shot and killed earlier. He's glaring at you, and through clenched teeth, he hisses, "Too stiff! Your lines are too stiff, and they don't make any sense! How is it so hard to get stories out of you people?"
Maybe if you fucking explained, I wouldn't have to ad-lib like a mad woman.
He raises his hand towards you, and you see that in it he's gripping a rather shiny-looking meat hook.
Nope, I'm gonna get the hell out of the
Kill
way.
you! Okay, how do you want to try and get out of the way? Like, what
Dodge.
skills do you want to use? Okay.
Okay. Oh god, here we go.
I believe in you.
Oh, it's only base. This could go so wrong. Nope.
Okay, so you completely you try to put your arm up and block him, or maybe like get around him, or like move around him, but like the hook just digs into the back of your neck, and then he's pulling you to the ground. And then it happens really fast. You're on top of it, and he's got the hook, and it's just everywhere. It's tearing things open and cutting things open, and there's so much horrible blood. He sinks it into your collarbone, and you scream as you're dragged out of the room violently. And you wake up. You're on the floor in the hallway, and you've got the key, and you don't quite remember fainting. To everybody else, it looks like Iris grabbed the key out of the medicine cabinet, said something, and then just collapsed for half a second.
Oh my God, Iris, are you all right?
Matt, Iris,
Holy Jesus, Mary, Joseph.
Calm down. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. You just collapsed.
He had a fucking meat hook.
What, the meat hook you found in the bathtub?
And then I was in a hospital room, and he said my lines are too stiff, and he buried it in my fucking neck.
Iris, you've been here the entire time. Who's he?
he killed me with a knife.
Killed you with... Wait, you both saw this?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he said he didn't like my lines, and he stabbed me with a knife.
Oh.
We agreed this was stupid, right?
Oh my god.
Lines? You mean he didn't like the narratives that you two were in?
I think that's my blood. In the fucking bathtub.
Okay, now that's just crazy, Iris. Come on. You're here and you're fine. There's not a scratch on you.
Yeah? You explained me passing out then.
I don't know. Maybe... Oh, God. You think maybe there's a gas leak in here? Maybe we should all get... Ugh. Cover my mouth. He didn't use a gas stove in the kitchen, did he?
It's an electric stove.
Oh, thank God. Whew. I don't know. Weird things happen. Maybe there's asbestos in the attic.
Asbestos would not do this.
Oh, are you a doctor now?
No.
Well, there you go.
Well, if it happens to you, allow me to say in advance, I told you so.
Well, if it happens to me, then I'll stop giving you both shit about it. But can we all put on our big boy pants and get on with this? I'd really like to get out of this place.
Yeah, I guess we should try that key.
In case of emergencies. Yeah, I'd say this counts as an emergency.
Okay. Yeah, you put the key into the bedroom door, and it turns easily. And it opens into a small, cramped room, barely more than 2 broom closets put together. There's a bed here, of course, and a small nightstand. The covers are disturbed, suggesting that this bed at least sees use for what it's intended.
Jesus, you call this a bed? It looks like a closet. How the hell is anyone getting any sleep in here?
This isn't what I saw when I kicked the door down, is it?
No, this is not what you saw when you kicked the door down.
I guess I'll go look over the nightstand. Is there anything on or in it?
The nightstand has a to-do list written on it with some items checked off. The checked items include clean the fridge, lock the attic, tidy up in the library, replace the kitchen placard. The item that is yet to be finished says, set the table for my guests and clean up the basement.
Huh. Okay. I will pick that up and I will read it out loud. And then look at, like, clean the refrigerator. You guys said you found a body in there, right?
Well, it was pretty clean otherwise.
Oh, well, he did mark it as complete, so I guess that checks.
Daphne, you look down at the paper to check some of the other items, and you look back up, and you're standing in a room that doesn't seem very familiar to you. Looks like the room of a house, but there's a clinical nature to it, as though somebody visits here regularly, some kind of hospice care, or maybe it is a hospice. It's like an all-contained apartment, and you get the vague smell of some kind of cleaning agent or something like that. You look around the room and it looks pretty Spartan, but there's a couch, a table, of course, the bed you're looking at. There's a little kitchenette in the corner, but it doesn't look like somebody that necessarily cooks there. It's more like a place to make snacks. But the most disconcerting thing about the area is the dying man laying in the bed. He's very, very old. He's lost most of his hair and it's turned white. And he looks at you with very watery eyes and he says, Jack, I know this isn't what you wanted, but oh, come on, Jack. You know it's hard for men like us to talk about these things.
I'm not gonna respond to him right away, but I do want to look around. Are there any other people around, or even like looking through a window, standing in a doorway?
The doorway is open, and you assume it leads to back into the rest of the hospice rooms. It definitely seems like this is some kind of like managed care facility.
Right. But there's no one actively observing us at the moment.
There's no one actively observing you.
I look at my hands. Do I look like I'm me?
As far as you're aware, you look like you're you.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the doorway, and I'm just gonna look out of it really quick. I'm gonna look down the hallways or whatever. See what I see.
You down one of the hallways, you see a couple orderlies like dealing with like a cleaning cart, or maybe they're dealing with medication of some kind. But the man calls back to you, Jack, listen, you came all the way out here. We may as well have a talk. I know things have been tense between us since your mother passed.
I'll turn back around and I'll say, yeah, it's been hard. I'm sorry. It's just, my mind is all over the place. And then I'll walk back to the bed and sit down at the side and take the man's hand in both of mine. But I'm here now.
After I go, Jack, it's just going to be you and Garrett. And I know ever since that summer, you two haven't been close, but promise me you'll look after him.
You know I will. I mean, what happened then was tough on both of us, right? But he's, what he means to me, to us. Of course, you don't have to worry, but you don't need to talk like that. Not yet. You'll be fine. There's still time.
Jack, I talked to the doctor, and it's gonna be a wonder if I see tomorrow.
Oh, what do they know? They just I'm like leaning over him, my hand on one of his shoulders.
Weakly grabs your lapel, like he's like going to like say something really important. He's like, Jack, listen. After the funeral, I want you to take Garrett, and I want you to go up to that cabin, and then the two of you have one of your fishing trips, okay? Like how it was before Mom died. when we were all still a family.
I'm going to try my best to actually get some tears going. And say, of course, you know I will. It'll be just like old times, and you'll be there. And I'll touch my chest in here with us.
You hear a scream from behind you as someone just shouts, "Wrong! Wrong! Oh, wrong! It was so good until the end there, and then you messed it up."
All right, I whip around and jump to my feet. I assume I see Mr. Body.
Yeah, you see Mr. Knight standing there holding the meat hook.
Okay, my eyes go to the meat hook. I start trying to back away, although I guess there's a bed behind me, so there's not too far I can go. And
I thought I was on to something really good with you. You were so much better than the other two, but you just couldn't get the ending right, could you? You just couldn't stick it.
Well, Mr. Knight, it's a little hard to work to a script that you can't see, but I guess not all of us can be as good as your idol Sutter Kane.
You don't bring that hack into this. If he knew half the things I did, if he'd seen the journals under the bed, it would have turned his hair white.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if hack is the right word, since he's the one who has more books on the shelf than you do.
How dare you?
What are you trying to do? Beat him in the number of rejection letters the author can possibly receive?
So he flies into rage and comes at you swinging.
All right. Once he does that, I'm just going to try to just diving tackle him and just knock him down.
Sure. You want to roll unarmed combat?
Let's see. Do I even have it? I have it at base. There's a 40% chance. Yeah, I just have no clue. Nope, that's an 89. That's definitely
no. He bats you away, and then you find that it's you on the ground, and it's over so quick. Just very neatly tears your throat out with one swing of the hook, and then you feel like you've died, but it's like your eyes are still recording information. It's like watching a movie from somewhere far away, like deep inside yourself. Muttering to himself, he hooks your body on the meat hook and starts dragging it, and then he drags you out of the bedroom and down the hallway and then outside into the cabin, and then you're being drug along the cabin floor up some stairs, but then you're in the cabin hallway, and then he drags you into the cabin across the bearskin rug and out into the snow, and then he hoists your body up and throws it onto a pile of other bodies being slowly covered by the falling snow.
Oh, man. Do I manage to recognize any of these other bodies?
You do not recognize any of these other bodies, but they do seem familiar. And then you wake up on the floor of the bedroom, having passed out for about a half a second.
I told you so.
Under the bed. Look under the bed.
I'll look under the bed.
Underneath the bed is boxes and boxes of files. The boxes themselves are categorized by date, going backwards from the present day to almost 7 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so I understand what happened to you two. First off, let me apologize for my curt manner previously. That was genuinely disturbing. I'm like feeling my neck. I'm so glad that there's not a giant hole in it anymore. I'll
offer Daphne a hand up.
I'm good. I'm fine. I had a bit of a talk with our Mr. Knight before he got upset with me.
What did he say?
Well, pro tip, I learned that you don't want to mention Sutter Kane unless you really want to make him mad. He did not like that at all. But
shit, my dad liked those books.
You know who that is? I never heard of him before. He's got a whole bunch of them out in his little study there. Tons of Sutter Kane books, a bunch of pages he's got marked and leafed. What is it with horror writers always writing about writers? Like, is it just egotism? I don't even matter.
That's neither here nor there. How about we focus on these files?
Sorry. My heart's racing and I'm just kind of trying to figure out. So I was in a hospice home, and I was someone called Jack or Jake or something, and my father, I think, was dying, and I ran with it. I just kind of tried to, since he's so obsessed with narratives, right? Like he's trying to tell a story, so I just kind of went with what I thought was gonna be, the typical schmaltzy, feel good, oh, the father and son make up at the deathbed, whatever scene. But I guess that wasn't what he was going for, because once I told Dad that I was going to take my brother Garrett out fishing, he just kind of lost it. And then I mentioned Sutter Kane, and he tore my throat open with a fucking hook. And
I didn't play along at all. I guess that's why you.
I was just kind of
It's
Yeah, I was just kind of going off what you two said and trying to see what I could figure out. The weirdest part is, like, I was dead, but I could still see what was happening, and he dragged me out of the basement of here. There was a basement. There were stairs. He took me up the stairs, and then I was back out in the hallway. And then he took me outside, and there were bodies in the snow. There were lots of bodies. I felt like I knew them, but I couldn't recognize them. I don't know what's going on. I am so tired.
There are no bodies out there. It's just snow.
we would have seen him on the way up.
Well, I don't think there's a basement out there, right? Like in the hallway, do you see any stairs leading down?
What would happen if we just torched this place and left?
I mean, is that going to get you the answers that your people are seeking? I'm starting to think that's why they sent us out here.
No, it won't get us answers.
I need a moment to collect myself. Give me some of those papers. Let's see what the heck he was hiding under the bed here.
The files seem to be accounts of the exploration of 2 rooms inside the cabin, neither of which you've seen, and which there doesn't appear to be physical space for. The accounts mostly mention the library and the stories contained inside. Some of them are gruesome, but mostly mundane. The books appear to be only biographies, which Knight was reading through and keeping notes on. I'm going to need some kind of investigation rule if you want to sort through these and gain more information.
What would be a good skill to use?
Forensics would probably be fine.
Don't have good forensics.
It's out of my bailiwick.
I've got good bureaucracy.
That would probably be okay.
All right, I'll roll that. Let me see what I can kind of piece together here. 36 out of 70, I make it.
Most of the books are uninteresting tonight, but a few seem to be biographies of serial killers. As he describes the lives of the peoples in the books, as he describes the lives of the people that the books write about, you can't help but notice similarities to some of his recently published works. Was he copying the lives of these horrific killers? You'll have to dig further to be sure.
All right. I will do exactly that. It's like I'm back studying for the bar exam. I'm gonna take like one of his novels that kind of sounds like it, and then I'm gonna take one of those reports and just kind of like do a line by line and see how closely they match.
Sure. Can I have you give me another roll?
Sure thing.
It's like the bar exam, except with more murder.
You'd be surprised.
Just like the bar exam.
Yeah, exactly. 39 out of 70. I make that one too.
The investigations of the books and Knight's notes on them seemed to hit a fever peak when he found an unfinished volume with his own name on it. The notes became unintelligible after that. Though he has recorded for months afterwards, you can no longer distinguish what the symbols scrawled into these journals even mean.
What on earth?
He slipped his chain.
Yeah, this isn't even English anymore. This guy was loopy in the extreme, and apparently he killed people and was obsessed with I don't even know if there's a word for this level of psychopathy.
Bug fuck nuts.
Sure, we'll go with that. You were eloquent as always there, Iris. Well, what do you all want to do? Because I'm still feeling like I'm supposed to have a hole in my neck that's not there now. I keep rubbing it with my hand.
I think we gotta figure out where the fuck he got this stuff from.
Yeah, and get rid of it.
Well,
Burn it, smash it, whatever.
well, you said your dad was into those Sutter Kane books. Do you know anything about him?
I was a hack.
Well, obviously he wrote horror. I mean, what sort of author gets into that?
No, I mean, like, even for horror writers, he was a hack. I don't know. Is there anything else in the nightstand? Is there like another key somewhere or something?
There's not anything else in the nightstand. But if you want a hint, I can have you roll your intelligence times 5.
Sure, why not?
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, no, that's a fail.
Okay, so you know there's a basement
Right.
somewhere.
Oh, wait. Please tell me it's not this obvious. I go back to the living area and look under the bearskin rug.
Yeah. So under the bearskin rug is a little door in the floor.
God damn
And
it.
the door, amusingly enough, has its own little placard like the kitchen and bathroom and bedroom that says basement. It's weird that it would need a label, right?
That is weird. Wait, does every room have a placard?
Every room has a placard.
Is it locked?
It is not locked.
I'm gonna draw my weapon.
Okay.
I got the rifle.
Care
Judson.
to
Yeah, let's all
hit
go
the
down.
door, officer?
Guns. Yep.
Okay. The stairs down into the basement are dark and dusty. They creak horribly, ominously even. The basement is small, more a cellar dug into the dirt than anything else. It's a sight to be sure. There's a workbench and a tarp and very, very little else. The walls are stacked with brick to keep out the dirt, and they must be as old as the cabin itself. Maybe this space would have been used to keep chilled food because it's certainly cold down here. The heat from the rest of the house doesn't seem to penetrate.
Jesus Christ, it's cold down here.
How?
Yeah, I've stopped noticing it.
That's not normal, right? Like, typically basements tend to be a little warm, don't they? Because, you know, you're under the ground, thermal energy. Like, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how this shit works.
Heat rises. That's all I know.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Can we just-
basements are not warm.
What's under the tarp?
Tarp lays on the floor opposite the workbench. It's covered in a dried Icarus substance. Underneath the tarp on the concrete floor is a phrase carved in repeatedly hundreds of times. It just says, "Need better stories."
All right, we get it. You were a bad writer. You have to obsess over it so much.
That's a lot of blood.
I wonder whose.
Please don't talk like that.
Sorry.
What's in the workbench?
Against one wall is the workbench. Looks like something you use as a carpenter or maybe a hunter. It's a thick, sturdy table with a few clamps attached to it. The dried blood on it is unmistakable, and there's more than a dozen deep scores along the surface. The bench is well used. Something about it is bothering you. If you want to check it out more, I'm going to need to have you roll a search.
I think you two might be better at that than me.
I only have it at base, but I'll try. And then I drop my die. Come back. All right, let's see. Nope,
Crit
73.
fail.
I just regular failed.
Something about it is weird, but you can't quite figure out what's bothering you about the bench.
Pass.
You look like around the base of it, and you realize that there's some scuff marks on the floor. And you deduce that the bench has been turned around. It normally faces the other direction.
I guess I'll turn it around.
Okay. Well, it takes two of you because it's rather heavy. But once you get it turned around, you notice that pressed up against the wall, it was hiding a little drawer. And inside the pull-out drawer of this workbench is a ledger simply labeled Library Stories.
I will flip through the ledger.
It's a huge list of volume numbers, filling up the 100 or so pages of the ledger. Many are crossed out with a red pen.
Is it actual like titles and stuff, or is it just like ISBN numbers or whatever?
Like kind of like ISBN numbers, but like just in a simple numeric sequence. It's like 7 digits of numbers. It's not like they're categorized by anything resembling Dewey Decimal or anything like that.
So there's no way I could then reference these to the books that are in the library then, without knowing like what system he's using.
Not unless you see the library itself.
I'm gonna look into this because as much as this guy's obsessing about books and narratives, there might be something here. I'll be upstairs, and then I'm gonna take the ledger upstairs to the library.
Okay. As you try to leave the library, it goes faint. And it goes faint for all of you. And you're seated in a room, but the room has a floor, but it doesn't really. You know there's something solid underneath you, but you're sitting in a chair. All of you have your arms bound and your legs bound, and you're just stuck in these chairs. There's no ceiling or walls. It's just an empty blackness that stretches on in infinite directions all around you. Your chairs are seated in a line, but also kind of arranged in like a semicircle, like pointed inwards, like you were all going to be sitting for some kind of Socratic dialogue in a college class. And standing in the middle of you is the man himself, Jack Knight. And he's got his knife and he's got his hook. And if you try to say something, you very quickly find that your mouths have either been taped over or roped over or something. You're just kind of wiggling around in these chairs. And he said, I had so much hope for this group. I thought that all of us could just come together and maybe work out this little problem of mine. But your stories are terrible, right? It's just so annoying that the only people I have to work with is you. Always you 3 idiots. He's coming a lot closer to you. He's like standing right in front of Daphne, right? And he looks pissed. And he just kind of glares down at you and said, you know what? We just need to go deeper. We're just going to make a few tiny edits. And the next time won't be so bad. The next time we'll actually get somewhere good. Okay? Just a few little edits. And he reaches behind your ear and grabs something. And there's this sickening noise as he pulls. And there's a tearing and your flesh just comes up off of your face. Like he pulls it open and your friends are watching this happen. But like worse than that, worse than literally defacing your friend is the fact that on the muscle underneath and on the backside of the skin, there seems to be scrawling, like something has been cut in and written. Like there's symbols that form some kind of language. And he takes the knife and he just starts cutting and changing and ripping in. Can I have you all please make sanity tests?
Sure.
Whoa.
Did I fail? Where's
I
my
succeed.
Crit succeed.
I failed.
If
failed
you
by
fail, take 1d6 sanity. If you succeeded, take 2. The crit success takes 1.
1d6. That is 2.
After he's done changing and writing or whatever he's doing to the text that's on your body, in your body, he just slaps the skin shut on your face and it like sticks. It like heals. It's like there was never anything there. It's like he pulled you open like a book and just edited what was underneath. And then you all wake up on the floor of the basement and you don't remember how long you were there.
What is the state of the room? Is it like when we left?
It's like when we left.
Is the ledger still here?
The ledger's still there.
I grab it and I run back to the library.
I'm just looking at Daphne like she's radioactive.
You do not yet know where the library is.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah, that was just a bookshelf upstairs.
Oh, right. Shit. There was nothing else in the basement, though, right? It was
There's
just
nothing else in the basement.
the tarp, the workbench, the ledger. All right, I'm going to go back up to the bookshelves then in the living room.
Mhm.
I want to do a quick cursory comparison with the ledger and see if any of the books seem to match those ones.
None of the books match.
Okay, so this is definitely not it. Fuck.
Daphne?
Fuck this guy. I'm going to find this guy and I'm going to fucking ruin him.
Not
gonna
if I beat you there first.
There are worse things in this world than getting rejection letters for being a shitty horror author.
Daphne?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I am fine. I'm fine.
You're not fine.
I am fucking fine. Just, we gotta find this library. I'm going back in the hallway. I'm gonna just open every door and just leave them open as I'm walking down the hallway.
Okay.
You're all right, officer?
Yeah. I mean, happened before, right? We just need to find this library, wherever it is.
Before he
mean-
starts making revisions on us, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, basement didn't have a door. I guess I started looking on the walls, ceilings, anything that might be indicative of some other way out of this area.
No, there's the doors to the kitchen, the bathroom, and the bedroom, helpfully labeled because of the placards. And then there's the door to the basement, again, helpfully labeled because of the placard. But other than
Are the placards able to be written on?
you can pull them out. They're like in little slots.
I got
Okay.
a crazy idea.
Oh, I think we might have the crazy idea, but go ahead and do the honors.
What if I write attic on one of the placards and put that in the door?
Which door do you want to put it in?
The bedroom door, because that one was locked and I have a key that says attic on it.
Okay. When you write attic on it and set it down, it locks. But it doesn't open with either key. And the label kind of shutters and then just pops out of the slat and the door opens again. And it's the bedroom once more.
Shit. Well, that was a decent idea.
All right. Well, let me try something else. I'm going to take the placard for the bedroom out.
Okay.
I'm gonna close the door, take the placard out.
Mhm.
I'm going to go over to the basement. I'm going to switch that placard. So now the placard for the basement door says bedroom. And then I'm going to put the basement placard on the one that used to say bedroom.
Okay.
And now I try to open the bedroom door again.
The bedroom door opens into stairs leading downwards.
Okay, and then I run over to the basement door and I open that one.
It opens into a very small room in the basement that looks like it consists of a nightstand and a bed.
I got it. I figured it out. We need to find the attic placard. That's all it is. There's a placard in here somewhere that says attic. That's what we need.
I hate it when time and space don't make sense. Like, I've never dealt with this before, but man, do I hate it.
Well, you know, maybe if the architect of this place wasn't such a shitty writer, he wouldn't have had such a simple and contrived fucking puzzle for us to figure out. Fucking storm over to, I don't know. I guess I'll go in the kitchen and just start kicking shit around to try and find something.
I mean, you can break as many dirty plates as you want, but you're not going to find another placard.
Damn it. How can we...
Okay, what are we missing? What are we missing? Can I go all the way back to the beginning in the files and see, you know, where does it all start?
The files start with he finds the library.
Does he say how he found it?
No, just that he opened the door, and then it was very surprising and very confusing. And then it shows his attempts to enter into it more often. He talks about needing supplies. He talks about feeling a bit like the hero that slew the Minotaur.
Okay.
Where... I know he had some old...
I go back outside and look at the doors that were locked that you mentioned earlier.
The windows?
I thought you mentioned doors, but if you didn't, then I don't.
Side. Yeah.
It's just the windows. Okay. Yeah.
Like, where was the last draft of his manuscript?
There's drafts of his manuscript stacked up by the fire.
By the fireplace, right. And it's all the same story, right? When I flip through the manuscript, it's just different revisions.
You can tell. Yeah, there's just different revisions. Things have been added. A lot of the manuscripts are blacked out.
It doesn't help anything. Let me think. Wait. All right. I go to the bedroom door that's now the basement door.
Mm-hmm.
I close it.
Okay.
I take the placard out.
All right.
I try to open it.
It does open, but it's into a space that is just big enough for the door to open into with nothing inside it.
Interesting. Interesting. Is there anything we haven't looked at yet?
You have looked at everything not in the library or the attic.
What are we missing? What are we missing? Can I get an idea roll?
Sure.
All right. I get an 11. I get an idea.
Okay. So when you tried to do the attic, it tried to take you there. But you get the impression that maybe attic was just the wrong address. So you can write things on the placards and it will try to go to them, but only if those places are correctly labeled.
Okay, so it just has to be the right thing. All right, I get another placard then, and the same one that we tried to use for attic, and I'll cross out attic and I'll write library.
Okay.
And then I'll put that one in the bedroom door and open it.
Okay. So you put it in and it opens. And it opens into a sprawling library in the purest sense of the word. The doorway you've come from appears to be set into nothing. From all directions, sprawled out around you, are floors and shelves and floors and shelves and floors and shelves and stairs and shelves and floors, overhangs and nooks and alleys of nothing but books. It's endless with no real architectural pattern or reasoning. There's no distinguishing features or landmarks, like a world populated only by tomes of indecipherable age. On the ground at your feet is a length of knotted rope. It meanders outwards deeper into the library. It seems to split off at several points, leading in two different directions, a bit like Theseus attempting to navigate the maze of the Minotaur.
I think I found it, guys.
Is that on the LSAT or something?
Is what?
You said, is that on the LSAT?
Yeah, what'd you find this time?
I found the library, and it is a very big library.
Well, that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm noticing I stepped through it, so they see me enter it. Like, can they still see me when I go inside?
Yeah.
Okay. So here I am in the library, and this doorway is like, I don't know what it looks like on your side. It just looks like it goes into, another room in the house. But on this side, it's just in nothing. Like
if you look through the door, you can see the cabin, but when you go around the other side, it's literally set into nothing. Like you can see the cabin from both directions.
It's a freestanding doorway.
It's really weird. I have a bad feeling that if we all come in here, we might not be able to get back. So how do you want to proceed here, Iris? Because I'm kind of intimidated by all this knowledge.
That makes two of us. Okay, so he had to know a way back out of here, right? I mean, he made multiple trips.
I hold up the knotted rope. I think he went low tech on that one.
Okay, so maybe if we follow the ropes, we'll find the attic, or we'll find him.
That's what you want to do.
Jesus Christ. How are we going to burn all this?
I think as long
Maybe
as
we don't. Maybe we just take these. Maybe we just take these placards. You like to talk about like storage units, right, my man Iris? I don't know.
What? Yeah, maybe we bury it in the deep dark hole where nobody will ever find them.
One thing at a time. Let's find this asshole.
Okay. We stick together, nobody goes off on their own. Agreed?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When in doubt, go left.
All right. So you want to start following the rope and see where it leads to?
Unless someone's got a better idea.
Yeah, maybe take a placard that says cabin, just in case.
Can I have you roll 1d6?
Okay.
Everyone?
Just one person.
Okay.
You go ahead.
All right. 3.
So this section of the rope where it splits, it goes along, meanders through various places until it comes to a spot where a book has been missing. It's been pulled out and it's just laying on the floor there. The cover of it just says Garrett Knight.
Garrett? Oh, I picked that up right away and start looking at it.
It's a biographical history of someone named Garrett Knight. It contains no publishing information on the inside cover, but there is a handwritten scrawl and permanent marker saying, "I'm sorry." The text covers the entire history and life of Garrett, including inconsequential moments. It's written from a weird perspective and tone, both emotional and clinical, all at once.
Okay, and there's an obvious spot on the shelf where this book used to be?
Yep.
I look at one of the books directly next to that blank spot. Like, what are the titles?
It's titles, and they're all titled like the names of people. Like one of them is for Chastity Savage. One of them is for, it's just like, it's people's names. Yeah.
I got you. Like, oh,
One's for Kamarov.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Wait.
I want to head to the K's.
It's gonna be really hard to find the K's. You probably want to stick to the
Damn it.
the rope because it's not like they're organized alphabetically or anything like that. It's just
okay.
books.
What about the ledger? Like, can I find any pattern between the ledger and what I'm seeing in here?
You can see that like each like on the spine there's numbers and the numbers tend to match up to how you assume the ledger works, but like without knowing where the books are, like they're not numbered in by number. You know, it's like
right. No, I get you. It'd be like looking at the Dewey Decimal System, but not knowing it. You have no frame of reference for how to. Okay.
It's people's lives he was mining for writing.
Yeah. I think I know what he did when he peeled my face back now. So if you see a book with my name on it, please let me know.
Oh, God.
And we're marching.
All right. So can I have you roll 1d6 again?
Who's doing it?
I'll do it this time.
Yeah, go for it.
Fun.
So you come across a book with lots of singe marks on the cover and pages, like it's been placed in a fire more than once. The smoke damage makes it unreadable, but you can make out that the cover says was the life of Adrian Knight.
Old man, or
that's just the cover.
Did you try reading either of those?
oh, I can't. It's all burned up.
Well, that's just the cover. Like, can we open the book? Like,
yeah, if you open it up, all the like pages are singed and stuff. Like, there's a lot of smoke damaging it, and like you can't make out the ink and things like that.
No parts of it that can be read, but the book's still intact. Like, it's still a book. Like, he didn't destroy it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks like he tried to destroy it, and it didn't take.
I'm gonna take that with me.
Okay.
Just in case. Yeah.
All right. If you want to follow another thread, please roll a 6-sided die again.
I got this one, and I got a 3 again.
All right, just roll.
Reroll. I got a 2.
Okay. You come across a book with a bunch of knife marks into it. It's like someone just stabbed it 1,000,000 times and scraped out the words with the blade of a knife. It's hard to read, but you can piece together that the name on the cover says Russell Knight.
Guess this guy did not have a good relationship with his family.
He had some serious rage issues.
Any part of the inside of this one legible, or is it all scraped?
There's like a couple of small legible things, but it's like about inconsequential days, like getting ice cream somewhere or being out fishing.
All right, well, I'll take this one too.
Can I have you flip a coin for the last one?
Someone want to flip a coin?
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Are you doing that already, or?
Nah, sorry.
All right.
I was typing to somebody and I was in the wrong channel.
We've all been there.
Heads.
Okay. So this leads you to a book with the name on it. It says Jack Knight.
Oh, it's his book.
Let's open it up.
The pages of this book have been torn out and replaced with new ones. There's a few short pages, all handwritten. They contain ramblings about a vastness, an emptiness that exists somewhere or maybe even somewhen. The raving script attempts to explain this location, often referencing its beauty. Towards the end of the text, there's descriptions of an inhabitant of this place. The text is fawning with lots of purple prose describing the inhabitant, but nothing to explain who or what it might be. The very last page contains only 2 lines of text, one above the other. The bottom line is a series of symbols that almost hurt to look at. Above it is scrawled 2 words in quotations. The attic.
I will copy down those symbols.
Okay.
And I don't know if we should take this book or not, actually. Now that it's here, I'm kind of worried.
Leave it. We got what we need out of it.
Yeah, all right. I guess I'll leave it.
Jesus Christ.
Do you want to go down the last branching path of rope?
Absolutely.
Might as well.
This doesn't necessarily lead to a pile of books, but more like a pile of wooden placards. They're just dumped in a big little assortment. Some of them have been carved and some of them have not. They're very mundane room names on them, like bedroom, basement, and kitchen.
Do I see one that says attic or that has those symbols on it?
No.
Are there any blank ones?
There are several blank ones.
I'll take a blank one. And yeah, I think I'll carve those symbols onto a blank one.
Okay. You would probably want to use the wood carving kit, which, as you remember, is left on the desk in the cabin.
Yep, I was planning on getting back to that once we get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. This place is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
All right, let's get on back to reality, question mark?
Okay. So you follow the string back, and when you step into the cabin, it's like nothing has changed. You've been gone, maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes as you were wandering around in the library, but things seem to be normal, at least as normal as this cabin gets.
How's the fire looking in the fireplace?
It's been winding down. Nobody's been putting anything into it, so it's getting pretty close to embers.
I'll throw a few more of his manuscripts in there.
Yeah, the fire starts back up and starts to chew through the manuscripts like it's done hundreds, maybe thousands of times.
Throw a log in there for good measure.
All right, then I'm going to sit down at the desk. I'm going to dig up that woodworking kit, and I'm going to carve me a placard.
Okay. I'm just going to be pacing back and forth because I'm nervous.
It takes you a few minutes because you wanted to make sure that the symbols were accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You do end up with a placard with the symbols carved into it. As far as you can tell, it's accurate.
All right. I'm gonna blow the sawdust off of it. Take a deep breath. Walk up to the bathroom door. Close the bathroom door. Take out the placard and put this one in. And open the door.
The bathroom door or the bedroom door?
Bathroom door. I want to leave the bedroom door going to the library for now.
When you put it into the bathroom door, it won't open. It clicks like it's locked, like it needs a lock, but there's no space for a lock on the bathroom door.
Oh. And let me guess, the only door that has a lock is the bedroom door?
That's correct.
Gotta leave the library behind, man.
All right, fine. I will go to the bedroom door, take out the library placard, and put in this one.
Okay. Assume you then use the attic key.
Yep, I step back and say, after you, Iris.
Unholster my gun. Safety off. Key in the lock. Turn.
Okay. It opens up, and the sky stretches out ahead of you, endlessly undulating. The atmosphere is a series of waves, but with a gentle ripple to it, like waves on a glassy black pond. It's night, or at least you assume by the dark emptiness of the space above you, pocked by watery stars. It's clear like glass, but so far away from you. Beneath you is a flat white plain of snow flowing out in all directions. Where the sky has a gentle texture and wave to it, this is completely flat. You sink into the ground a little, leaving footprints that mar this pristine landscape. The world here is featureless, save for a shape in the distance. It looks like the crouched form of a traveler wrapped in a long flowing cloak, huddled within the garment drawn about them. What do you do?
Is it person-sized?
Maybe.
I think we don't have proper depth of field to be sure if he's really far away or if he's just small or big.
I guess I'm going to start crunching towards it.
Okay. Are you all going to crunch towards it?
Sure.
Yep.
Why not?
The figure is farther off than you first believed. As you grow closer, it only grows in size until you realize that the form was monstrous.
Nope.
It notices you approach, the hood of the garment turning to regard you, but it doesn't move. You walk forward inexorably until you stand in front of it. Now it turns to you, finally presenting itself. Its body is wrapped in a cloak made of hundreds of thousands of pieces. They're long and white, tattered and aged. It seems to be sewn together from so many pieces of paper, older than you can possibly conceive. They blow with a wind, and yet there is no wind. They reflect the light from the sky, and yet there is no light. They hold back the chill of the snow, and yet there is no discernible temperature. The creature is massive in size, made of spindly dark limbs the color of cherry wood. It has so many arms, so many horrible arms, reaching out from the darkness inside of its cloak. They reach out and land softly in the snow around you, forming pillars like a makeshift cave, or maybe just a pleasantly calm gazebo. It's impossible to know as there's no visage to look into, nothing to gauge a reaction, or at least not one that you can understand. The hood of the cloak hides a face made of galaxies, of swirling stars and gases, of emptiness and yet crammed full of something, of the essence of space, of time. You can feel it regard you in the way the galaxies burn, in the way the stars twinkle, in the way that the tiny universe hums inside the cloak. It bends down to face you and screams at you in a voice as quiet as a mouse, yelling and whispering all at once, in a voice so terrible and thunderous that the noise of it is deafening, and yet in a murmur so quiet as to focus all understanding into this one terrible pinpoint of communication. It speaks precious few words. Tell me a story.
I wipe the tears from my eyes. And I step forward. I let the rifle I had slung in my hands just fall to the ground. I close my eyes, and then I tell the figure exactly what happened to us tonight as if it were a story. So once there were 3 people who came to a cabin in the snow and just kind of explain everything in a narrative format up to this point.
Can I have you roll persuade?
Sure, because I'm actually kind of good at that.
Should I roll sand?
I'm not gonna have everybody roll sand.
42 out of 60, I make it.
It listens to the length of your tail, and when you finish, it kind of just stares at you for a second, and then it nods once, and one of its horrible arms from inside its cloak points at you and then waves back towards the door, and then its face turns to regard your companions, and you hear it whisper again as it screams at you. Tell me a story.
Bye, guys.
I
leave.
I guess I'm going to step forward and tell it the story of what happened to get me into Delta Green. You know,
Okay.
the firefight, the bodies, the thing, and what came after.
Can I have you roll persuade?
Not what I'm good at. Oh God, it's that face. I am uber doomed.
It was nice knowing you, Iris.
Oh my God, I made it.
Yay!
It stares at you for a long time before you finish. And then it, again, nods, and another arm comes out from its cloak, points at you, and then waves towards the door.
I'm just gonna run and I'm not looking back because.
And then its hideous and beautiful, exquisite visage turns to face Judson, and it leans in even closer this time, And in that awful, screaming, whispering, maddening voice, it says to you, "Tell me a story."
Judson will attempt to tell some sort of story about what happened to him, in Afghanistan or wherever, and persuade, see how well this works. I don't know. I mean, I presume that depending on how well this role goes, like that will be the quality of the story, and there's a range of things that might have happened to him that are good or bad stories.
Yeah, so let's roll persuade and see how good of a story it is.
It is not good.
So
I presume it's going to be like a wildly exaggerated, tale of some, fight he had, which in reality was, probably not much of a fight at all. Maybe he just killed people who didn't even have guns. And it is, it probably says, just a lot more about his various, neuroses and, power complexes or whatever than it does about anything that, is actually interesting or.
Quicker than you can react, its hands eviscerate you, flaying the skin from your body. In seconds, this skin, etched with the story of your life, ages thousands and thousands of years, becoming shriveled, becoming a piece of paper, becoming a length of this papery thin white material that it then takes and sews into the cloak. Having heard its stories, it turns to regard whatever it was doing as the two of you who still live flee back to the door.
All right, so as soon as we're back in the cabin, I'm going to close the door. I'm going to take that placard out, and I'm going to throw it in the fire. Because that was a bad idea.
Holy
and
shit.
I regret it so much.
Holy shit, what was that thing? Holy shit, what was that thing?
I don't know. I don't care. I want to go home.
Holy shit.
I just want to fucking go.
Wait, where's the officer?
He's not coming back.
Fuck.
If you want to look for him, be my guest.
I
I'm
am
not going back there.
there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's just get the fuck out of here. This place sucks. Sutter Kane sucks. Jack Knight sucks. Everything sucks. You know what?
Burn it to the ground and let's go home.
Yeah, you were right. You know what? I just grab books, I throw them into the fire. I'm trying to get it roaring and just fucking like we'll just take flaming books and throw them into every room and just fucking get out of here. This was all a mistake.
All right. So you do a pretty good job setting the place on fire.
That's more
and
like
as you leave and are running back down the laneway towards pickup, you can't help but look at the flaming building. And you notice that there is a figure standing in the doorway as though he's trapped in the house and unable to leave. But you can feel the hate radiating from his gaze as he just stares at you.
I'm going to stare back at him and just glare while the place burns down.
The place eventually burns down completely, falling and collapsing in on itself, leaving so much ash. The van rattles up the laneway to meet you, and you have no idea what you're going to tell people about what happened there. As the van rattles away, you can't help but imagine some poor souls in a van much like this one, driving up a road like the one you're leaving, parking at the edge of the laneway and joking about the cold as they head up towards an awful cabin, unaware of what waits them. That was Amanuesis Dolls. Thank you, everybody, so much for playing. Thank you, everyone who came to listen. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, from me specifically, you can support me at patreon.com/BridgetFan. All one word, as though you're a fan of me, Bridget. Also, I'm working on a visual novel along with Fake Hells from Thrilling Intent. It's about two lesbian monster hunters, essentially, who are wandering around Gothic America. So if you liked Supernatural but thought, why isn't this better? Why isn't it gayer? Why are there no girls? That's for you. If you want to check out the developments of that, please follow at CryNovel on Twitter or go to crynovel.itch.io. If you like Role-Playing Public Radio and you want to hear more of it, you can always go to actualplay.roleplayingpublicradio.com to hear stories from the main cast. And if you want to be in games like this, you can go to the RPPR Patreon, patreon.com/RPPR. You can sign up there, and there's a specific tier. I honestly don't know what the tier is, but there's a tier of rewards you can get to, and it lets you sign up for games like this. So if you had fun like this and you want me or any of the other GMs in RPPR to run games for you, that's an option. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope you had an excellent time, and we will see you all later.